Hello, my name is Dan Erber. I'm currently employed as a law enforcement officer in Southern California and have been for approximately 7 years. What we're going to talk about is you excelling and just doing a great job on whatever oral board you sit in front of for whatever law enforcement position you're trying out for. The first and most important thing we're going to talk about is your attitude and your belief. You've seen bumper stickers that say attitude is everything, and that's so true. When you come in and sit down on an oral board, if your attitude and belief isn't 100% and isn't right, that it's going to shine through, and you're going to come across as someone who's given 50% of their effort versus 100%. Henry Ford had a great quote, and that says, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're probably right. And that's true. That folds over into self-talk. Self-talk, if you walk into an oral board thinking, I can do this, I'm going to do a great job, I believe in myself, I believe in what I'm doing, then that's going to come across, and your performance is going to be that much better. You have to start telling yourself that you're going to do an awesome job. You have to start telling yourself that you are good at speaking in front of other people. Some great examples that I can think of are as far as not letting someone else's opinion become your reality. If someone says, I don't think you're going to do well in law enforcement, I don't think it's the right career for you, don't let their opinion become your reality. Some examples would be, there was a record producer that told the Beatles that guitar bands were on their way out. They told them this in the early 60s. There's also examples, Colonel Sanders, the man who started Kentucky Fried Chicken, or KFC, was told that 500 times. He went to 500 different people trying to get someone to back his secret recipe. And everyone told him no, that it wouldn't work and it's a waste of time. And of course, he didn't give up, and look where he is today. At least look where his corporation is today. Someone told Fred Astaire, the actor and dancer, that talent agents once said that he can't sing, he can't act, but he can dance a little bit. And of course, those who've seen Fred Astaire know that he's an outstanding dancer. Goes back to, like I said before, do not let someone else's opinion become your reality. Let's take a look at what a few professionals are saying about an oral board.
I'm Lieutenant Binkley of the 61st Air Base Group Security Police, United States Air Force. If you want to be on a police department, the first thing you got to do is look squared away, wear nice clothes, keep yourself clean, neat when you go for your interview. Make sure you take and practice interviewing before you go down for your oral. Make sure you have a resume put together. It is in chronological order, and that it states everything that you've done from practically day one. It has to be typed, it has to be neat, and you can have it professionally done if you like, which I recommend. That's about it.
Here are some helpful hints for you when you stand before the oral board. When you first walk into the room, shake each individual member's hand who will be on the panel and wish them a good afternoon, and then sit down nice and straight. Throughout the interview process, look them in the eye and answer their questions. Don't stare them down, but answer it promptly, look them in the eye, and then when someone else asks you a question, look at them. If you're looking around down at the table, the walls, into space, this is going to make you appear very shy and intimidated. These are qualities that are very undesirable for a future law enforcement officer. Finally, when the interview's over and you've answered all the questions, stand up nice and straight, reach over the table and shake each individual hand and thank them for the interview process and leave. Don't hang around, don't chit-chat, be very professional. Finally, the biggest advice I can give you is take some sort of public speaking class. For example, a college class, or if you don't have a junior college or university somewhere where you live, try Toastmasters International. Most communities will have a Toastmasters International. You can find out if you have one in your community by asking the Chamber of Commerce. Toastmasters International is obviously an international organization that teaches people how to speak. And virtually for almost no cost, you can go into a situation where they will teach you impromptu speaking and formal speeches. And not only is it good for you as a person for the oral interview, but it is a lot of fun. There's an old saying that there's two things people are afraid of: public speaking and death. Well, obviously, public speaking is something that you have control over, and if you're afraid of interviewing, or you're afraid of a crowd or speaking before an audience, a speech class or Toastmasters International will get you over that hump. And if you can dazzle them during your oral interview, that's pretty much 3/4 of the battle right there.
Let's talk about visualization. You need to visualize yourself in your mind going into the oral board. You need to visualize yourself doing a great job, answering questions in a clear, concise manner, being confident, speaking loud, not hoeing and humming when they ask a question. You need to visualize yourself giving correct grammar and just doing this all in a positive manner. You need to think about running through the oral board again and again, because when you practice something in your mind, you never make mistakes. And some examples of this, for those of you that are sports fans, know that real professional sports figures and players, they will visualize and they will sit down and they will run through plays in their mind again and again and again, because when you practice in your mind, you never make mistakes. That's what separates the real pros from the people that want to be pros or the amateurs. Another really good example of this is the prisoners of war in Vietnam. Some of them were in solitary confinement or isolation for periods of 3 to 7 years. Another prisoner of war would teach them how to play piano. They would make up on cardboard, make up the keys, the black and white keys to a piano, and one who knew how to play the piano would teach the other who had never played a piano before. And after practicing a piano, practicing on a fake piano for a period of years every day, when they were released and they came back to the United States, they could sit down and this prisoner of war could play a piano having never touched one before. The same occurrence happened with a guitar and with a golf game. POW actually improved his golf game because every day for 5 to 7 years he played a round of golf in his mind. And when you play a round of golf in your mind, you're always hitting holes in one. You're always doing really well because that's what visualization does. And that will help you on the oral board. I want to talk to you a little bit about posture. Not so much the way you're sitting or the way you stand, but posture covers a lot of what we've talked about. How you feel, your attitude when you walk into an oral board. You need to be confident. You don't need to be cocky, but confident. That you have the right answers, that you're going to answer, again, in a clear and concise manner, and you're there basically to sell yourself to this oral board. And they've seen, you're going to have captains, sergeants, and lieutenants, so forth on this oral board, and they've seen it all. And they know when people are lying, and they know when people are trying to just get by. You need to go in there with the right posture, that you believe in what you're doing, and you believe in yourself. Again, let's talk to some other people that will help you out on an oral board.
My name is Bill Bedsworth. I'm a Justice of the 4th District Court of Appeal in California. Before this, I was a prosecutor for 15 years, and then a trial court judge for 10 years. What that means is that I have spent a substantial amount of my adult life in the last quarter century dealing with cops. I have worked with them. I've had them appear in front of me. I have played ball with them. I've drunk with them. I've celebrated with them. I've suffered with them. I have never understood them. It is a very difficult job. You have to be an idealist to want the job. You have to be a hard-headed realist to be able to do it well. In my 25 years watching police officers in court, the one thing that always stuck out in my mind about the very best police officers I saw was their ability not to take it personally. Let me explain what I mean by that. The police officer who testifies in court as a witness, and that is a very big part of the job, is under attack from the moment he or she walks into the courtroom. It is someone who has perhaps been up all night, perhaps been up for 24 or 48 hours straight, who now has to struggle into a courtroom, sit down on the witness stand, try to remember this one case of the hundreds he or she has worked on in the ensuing year, and be an expert on it. Remember all the details about it. Stand up to cross-examination about the case by what, for lack of a better term, is a smart-ass lawyer. Someone whose job is to make the police officer look bad. It's important, if you're going to do that on a regular basis, that you have certain skills. Public speaking skills are very important, and any kind of education you can get, any kind of tips you can get, any kind of work you can do involving public speaking is a big plus. Your ability to deal with the public will always show in the courtroom, your ability to relate to other people. And any kind of work that you've done that involves dealing with the public will help you in the courtroom, because there are going to be 12 jurors there that you're going to be trying to convince of the rightness of your position. But more than anything else, what you need in the courtroom is the ability to maintain your cool under attack. You have to be able to sit there and realize this person is attacking me because I am the representative of the government who is trying to put their client in jail. It's not personal. It sounds personal. Boy, does it sound personal. It'll hurt. It'll make you angry. And somehow you've got to sit there and take it and respond politely, intelligently, and coolly. It's a talent I don't have. When people yell at me, I yell back, doggone it. I would have difficulty testifying. It's a lot easier being a judge. It's a lot easier being a lawyer. Being a witness is tough. Being a police witness is real tough. So if I were going to work on one skill, one thing that would make me a better police officer and better prepare me for the job, it would be controlling my temper and realizing that people who attack me in court are attacking my badge, they're attacking my uniform, they're attacking the police department, they're attacking the government, but they aren't really attacking me, and I shouldn't take it personally.
When you're invited into the room, walk into the room where the oral board is going to take place. Walk in with a brisk, confident walk. If there's a chair in the middle of the room, which there normally is, just go and stand next to the chair and wait to be told to be seated. If you're standing next to the chair and there's a little period of time where the people on the oral board are shuffling papers, or they seem to be writing something, they're probably just gathering up and finishing up notes, so forth, from the last person that took the oral board and preparing for yours. So don't feel uncomfortable. Don't feel like you're being set up for any reason. Just relax. Stand next to the chair. A lot of people have a concern of what to do with their hands. And the best thing to do is, if you're standing next to the chair, just put your hands comfortably behind your back. For those with any prior military experience, you'll know this kind of a modified, something between parade rest and at ease. You're just going to stand there comfortably, feet shoulders width apart, with your hands behind your back. That way you don't have to worry about them. And when you're standing there, just look up just above the board members' heads. You're not there to stare them down. You want your eyes to, like I said, just be looking above the board members' heads. You want to just be relaxed and be confident. They're going to tell you to go ahead and have a seat, and so sit down. When you sit, either put your back up against the very back of the chair and put your hands on your knees, or just fold them, in your lap. Or if the chair is too big, or if for whatever reason it's more comfortable for you, sit on the very end of the chair with your back straight, again with your hands either in your lap or on your knees. And just, again, stand by until you see that they're ready to start asking you questions. You know that because they'll be asking you questions. And what you want to do is, when you answer a question, this is very important with the eyes, for eye contact with people. When you answer a question, you want to repeat the question back. If someone on the board asks you how long that the city that you're applying for, how long has it been incorporated, or what the chief's name is, or about what's the population of that city, you want to be able to repeat the question back to the person that asked you, and then as you're answering the question, you want to make eye contact with the other people on the board the other board members. The best way to not stare somebody down, when I say make eye contact, is look at the tip of their nose. Because if someone looks at the tip of your nose, you think you're looking in their eyes. And in essence you are, but you don't have to stare them down, and it won't become a who blinks first type thing. Look at the tip of their nose, so you're not looking directly into their eyes, and they think you're looking directly in their eyes. So it works out, it's a benefit for you. And again, you come off as professional. After you finish answering the question, you want to get back to the original board member that asked the question and complete with that. Let's take a look at a few examples of what I'm talking about. When you come into the room, go ahead and just stand next to the chair, if there is one. Put your feet shoulder length apart, put your hands behind your back, and just stand there straight and tall and be comfortable. When you're told to sit, for guys, first thing you want to do is unbutton your coat and go ahead and have a seat, putting your back all the way up against the back of the chair. Put your hands in your lap or on your legs. And again, you just want to sit and wait for the first question to be asked. If for some reason the chair is uncomfortable to sit with your back up against it, sit on the very edge of the chair. And you still can be comfortable. Just make sure you got a straight back and your hands are either on your knees or folded in your lap. For guys, before you go to an oral board, don't shave 10 minutes before you leave the house to go to drive to wherever you're going to drive to for the oral board. You're going to be cutting yourself, and then throughout the oral board, you're not going to be thinking about answering questions. You're going to be wondering if that cut is opened up again. So don't shave right before you leave the house. Shave 3 or 4 hours before. That way you have time to relax, and you go into the oral board in a non-hurried situation. You aren't rushing. You're relaxed. Dress conservative, and this goes for male and female. You'll notice that for guys, you want to wear a white shirt. You want to wear a tie with just a touch of either red or burgundy in it. You want to wear a dark suit. For women, you want to dress conservative, which means no loud nail polish. A skirt that goes at least to the knees, if not beyond. The best way to find out how business people are dressing is go to a major international airport, sit down on a bench, and for about a half hour and watch the business people, male and female, walk by. That is the best way to find out what people are wearing today, what's the latest in fashion, and just want to make sure that you look like those people because they're dressed conservatively. For women, no multiple earrings, no heavy makeup. For guys and gals, no heavy perfumes or cologne. Just enough to know that you're there, but don't overdo it. You're not going to impress anybody by how you smell. For guys, no mustaches or beards. And make sure your hair is short. It doesn't have to be buzzed like you're getting ready to go into the academy, but just make sure you have a real good short haircut. And of course, guys, if you're wearing an earring, you might as well just turn off the videotape now because you're just going to alienate yourself from about 100% of all the law enforcement agencies out there when you're trying out for it. You want to be confident, and well, I'm going to say that again and again. You want to be confident, you want to know what you're doing, and you will do that, and you will be confident by practicing, both in your mind and practice with probably the toughest critics you can practice with are friends and relatives. Invite friends and relatives, whether it's 1 or 10 of them, and set up a mock oral board in your kitchen or your living room, and we'll go over some of the questions that will be asked and have them ask you those questions. I guarantee they'll be your toughest critic, and when you get in front of an oral board, it'll be a piece of cake because you've already had your friends and relatives rip you apart. But you get through them, and an oral board will be it'll be a piece of cake. You'll be more confident on it. Throughout your time while you're answering questions on the oral board, you want to have a good time. You want to be professional, but remember, you're there for you, and you need to sell yourself, but have fun in doing that. When you're asked a question, pause for a second or two to give time that it makes it appear, and you will be, to consider what was asked and how you want to answer it. Repeat the question back. We already discussed that. You want to repeat the question back to the person that asked it to you, and as you're answering the question, look around the room at the other board members and make what we call nose contact, but make facial or eye contact with them. Important thing that if you're asked a question and if you don't know the answer, don't ho and hum and fidget around and be concerned because you don't know the answer. The best thing to do when you don't know the answer is say, "Sir or ma'am, I don't have that answer at this time. Let me research it and I will get back with you with the correct answer." And get back with them, whether it's a day or two later, just write them a note. And whether you're getting hired on there or not, that shows real professionalism, that you got back to them with the correct answer. If you don't know an answer to a question, and studies show that if you look up as you're thinking about the answer, studies show that people that look up when they're asked a question, they don't know the answer. They're searching the heavens for the right answer. People that look down and they're thinking about it, they know the answer, they just can't think of it at the time. If you have to look anywhere when you're trying to ask or answer a question, look at the chest or the table right in front of the board members. That way you're looking down just a bit and you don't have to start sweating about the eye contact with them and what are they doing or thinking. You can just relax, just drop your eyes down a bit and think about the answer. And again, if you don't know it, "Sir or ma'am, I don't have that answer right now, or I don't have that answer at this time. Let me get back to you after I do some research, and I'll have that answer for you. And that you come across very professional with that answer. You want to do some research on the department or the agency you're trying out for, and especially either the county or the city, information about it, the population, the chief's name, the number of cities within the county, the deputy or the sheriff's name, whoever's in charge of the department. You want to know the basics. You want to know how long that department's been around, when the city was incorporated, and just some of the basic things that the department does, or something that is noted for. Hopefully you want to get something positive that the department has been noted for in a current events type situation. Those are questions that are going to be asked you. Do you know the chief's name? Do you know what the size of the department is? And if you don't know, you obviously haven't done your research. Take a few minutes, walk over to City Hall to really the personnel department, and they can give you all that information. Just learn it, and then when you're going up for your oral board, you have that information stored and you have a confident answer. In summing up this segment on oral boards, take some worthwhile time and videotape yourself on that mock oral board we talked about in front of your friends or relatives. Videotape yourself answering questions, entering, sitting, everything we talked about. Then you can go back through and watch that, find out what mistakes, if any, that you're making, and improve on them. That will give you a better belief and attitude, because you'll know what you look like, and you'll be able to go in and be professional, give your 110%. Let me recommend some books that you read prior to going up on an oral board. Read The Psychology of Winning by Dr. Dennis Waitley. Read The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz, and read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Outstanding references to give you the belief and the attitude to get you through the oral board and doing really well on the oral board, to get you through the academy with a great attitude and on into your law enforcement career. How well someone prepares determines who will start the next academy. You're going to go up on an oral board against other people who haven't prepared at all, and you're going to blow them away, because you have prepared both physically in the way you dress and mentally in the way you think. You're going to do an outstanding job. You are in control. Don't say, I'll give this a try. Do not say, I'm going to do it. Tell yourself, hey, it's a done deal. All you have to do now is go through some of the preliminaries and go through the motions on the oral board, but it's a done deal. The fact you're going to do well on the oral board, it's a done deal. You're going to do great in the academy, and it's a done deal that you're starting off in your law enforcement career. Go out there and do it. Don't let anybody else's opinion become your reality. Believe it and go ahead and achieve it.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Gordon from Newport Orthopedics in Newport Beach. And I'm here to tell you a little bit about the physical requirements of becoming a police officer. First and foremost, your vision has to be good. You must be corrected to 20/20 with glasses, and your vision cannot be worse than 20/80 without your corrective lenses. This is a very physically demanding job. You have to be able to run and jump, stand, drive, crawl around, do lots of pushing and pulling, and you have to be able to subdue a combative subject. So if you're not in shape, you should get in shape. And I recommend a vigorous program of running and aerobic conditioning with an emphasis on upper body strengthening. So if you're not in the gym, get in the gym. Thanks a lot.